Hi everyone, Kev here at Face for Radio, Voice for Print. I was watching the DOGE hearing with our head Dogebag, Marjorie Taylor Greene. How she became the head of any system or department or anything. How she even got elected. I'll never understand it because she is as dumb as a bag of hair. And this guy that's going to talk right now, just listen.
I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Cloud.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For far too long, D.C. politicians have gotten away with measuring their personal value and worth by how much of other people's money they give away.
Like Donald Trump, ran up trillions in debt, giving money away to his billionaire friends. But I don't believe Mr. Cloud's talking about that. I could be wrong. I think he's talking about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the Office of Professional Management, OPM, the Budget Office, all of them. In lock, Nazi salute, step. That's how they are right now. They're saying the same statements over and over. They're really, really good at one thing, and that's propaganda. Just listen up.
And for far too long, they self-righteously have opined that the spending was for altruistic purposes given out of care and compassion.
Well, it starts that way, at least. Do we need to cut the fat? Of course we do. Do we need to shut down Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? No. But that's what they're doing. The Department of Education? Yeah, we'll let Alabama. We'll let them choose how to educate their children. And Idaho and West Virginia. Because, they're always the most brilliant at education. Well, the entire freaking South, as far as that goes. I don't care how smart you are. The South is fucking stupid.
Far too long, they've been more concerned with looking like they cared than having enough care and concern to actually do the due diligence to ensure that the tax dollars were being used wisely and effectively. And for far too long, those of us who've worked to uncover waste, fraud, and abuse have had to deal with what amounts to an unconstitutional fourth branch of permanent bureaucracy that has too often worked to ignore, obfuscate, delay, and frustrate our efforts to bring transparency and oversight. Over the last few weeks, the DOGE effort has begun to uncover not only how massive the waste, fraud, and abuse is, but also the extent at which D.C. politicians and too many
we wouldn't actually know that because nobody's told us anything. They've said things. I haven't seen one shred of proof other than the shreds of proof that the lawyers who are trying to get U.S. aid shut down lied to Congress and lied to courts, and they had to do a correction.
Senate bureaucrats have coordinated to create what is essentially the largest money laundering scheme in history. And while Americans have been working to make ends meet, they have been using taxpayer dollars to fund unnecessary, egregious, and even evil things here at home and around the world. Thankfully, in DOGE, we have...
Now, his idea of evil things around the world, you notice how he didn't go into what that is? That's called a Carlson, named after Tucker Carlson, by making a statement with not in any type of has any factual standing. It just make the statement, plants a seed. This is what they're doing. You got to see the propaganda for what it is.
Have a president bringing the leadership needed and a focused effort, along with the talent, technology, tools, and transparency to this waste, fraud, and abuse. And to those who would stand opposed to this effort, I would just point out, while it's understandable to find waste, fraud, and abuse that has grown and metastasized in this government even over decades, certainly accelerated over the last few years, to continue to protect.
It hasn't accelerated. It's slowed down. My God, Mr. Cloud, go look at the fucking, go look at the actual numbers. Because I know you don't have them in front of you, or you would say them. Well, you probably wouldn't, because they show that it all went down. But it all went up under Trump. So there's a reason they're not actually explaining what's happening.
Protect it is corruption. I want to thank the chair for beginning this war on waste on this side of Pennsylvania Avenue and bringing together this committee. This effort is so important as we work to relieve the Americans, people of this burden of waste, fraud, and abuse. Mr. Talcove, you mentioned in your written statement and talked about it in your
I'm not going to go through that part of it. There's a little bit different. There's another spot here. Hang on, I'm going to find it because it is really good. Oh, here we go. There we go.
We're all here to fight against the lies, the corruptions, and the attacks on our social safety net. Now, we should in no way be cooperating with House Republicans who want to shut down the Department of Education and destroy Medicare and Medicaid. And we should not stand by as the richest man on the planet gives himself and his companies huge tax cuts while the American people get absolutely nothing. Now, I find it ironic, of course, that our chairwoman, Congresswoman Green, is in charge of running this committee. Now, in the last Congress, Chairwoman Green literally showed a dick pic in our oversight congressional hearing.
Dick pic, yes.
So I thought I'd bring one as well. Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man. He was the biggest political donor in the last election. He has billions of dollars in conflicts of interest, and we know that he is leading a power grab.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Also abided by and encouraged by Donald Trump and, of course, the chairwoman, Congresswoman Green. But I also want to run through what DOGE actually is going to do. It's a demolition plan that's going to run through our government.
This is where he gets serious. I mean, he was goofing on Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she is inept and incompetent at basically everything except for lifting weights, which is something she should go back to. He's going to go over 6 things here, and the detriment that's coming to you, to me too, but I'm not going to live much longer.
DOGE is trying to abolish the Department of Education. That means opportunities denied to kids. It means you're ripping away opportunities for children with disabilities who are dependent on this money. You're also halting medical research, which is also critical, which we have to also stop. The idea that we're going to eliminate or destroy the Department of National Institutes of Health, NIH, is crazy. Let's talk about the Department of Labor. We're talking about protections for working people across this country, where people can actually complain about abuses their companies are making against them. And
that department also enforces child labor laws. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Their co-workers, workers are now going to be in danger. And let's also talk about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, another huge issue for us. Think about the scammers and fraudsters that will be empowered across this country because Elon Musk wants, essentially, these companies have more power over consumers and over people across this country.
What he's not mentioning is the spam calls or scam calls you get. They're not going to regulate that anymore either. But I guess that doesn't matter.
Look at the Centers for Disease and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. That is actually what's being discussed partly today. Healthcare, we're talking about being denied to millions of poor people, working class people across this country.
Children, underprivileged, inner city, rural, suburban people who are living paycheck to paycheck are not going to be able to get insurance that's affordable. If they get sick, if you get sick, you're going to have to pay for it. They're not going to pick you up. They're going to drop this entire thing and leave us all out in the cold. For all the work we've done to help, they're going to do all this.
And now, of course, they're on to their largest target, the U.S. Social Security Administration. We're talking about the destruction of the actual social safety net in this country. We know that 1 in 5 Americans collect Social Security, seniors, disabled people. This entire plan is about hurting the American social safety net and destroying.
People got on me about waiting. Just wait and see what happens. Just see, wait and see what happens. He's not gonna get rid of Social Security or Medicare or, get rid of the fraud part of the government that helps us. But he'll put in coders, Elon Musk's minions. I don't even want to call them minions. They're like Igor. They're a bunch of Igors. And Musk is Frankenstein. Anyway.
Destroying our institutions. And it's important that we actually call out what is happening at this subcommittee. This is not about working with the richest man on the planet. This is actually about empowering. This committee wants to empower the richest person in the world to hurt people so they can take all of this money that they so-called want to save and then give it to themselves, their companies, and their billionaire friends. That is the attack that is happening in this committee and across this country, and it's important that we call it out. We also know, of course, that Elon Musk is sending his unqualified DOGE staff to carry out this agenda across all these agencies. And in some cases, actually teenage staffers. No accountability, no experience, and problematic records. They're trying...
Problematic records. Yeah, selling secret information from one company to other companies for profit. Y'all better start seeing that as a problem, because that's what's coming.
Trying to rob you, and they're probably a minor. Thank you, and I yield back.
He explained it well. He missed some key points with Elon Musk and his Igors. Elon and his Igors. I kind of like that. Anyway, what do we do at this point? What do we do to stop this from completely shutting out the disenfranchised? Because I don't know, short of lawyers, short of delaying this as long as they can, at least for 2 years when we take the House and the Senate back, because that's coming. And if it doesn't, then I know the entire system's rigged, because all I see is people who voted for Trump, farmers especially, but small business owners who are losing their houses, they're losing their businesses, they're losing everything. SNAP benefits for people that need that social safety net so they can eat. I want to know, and I want to see it all. But you don't have to shut stuff down in order to do that. It's there's no reasoning behind Donald Trump becoming Vladimir Putin of America. And that's where we're heading, and I swear to you, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm being very, very serious. I've been calling this for 10 years, and this is one of the scariest things that I've ever seen. Seriously, one of the scariest things. If you understand anything from what I'm saying today, from everything that's happening, call your senators, call your representatives, state senator, state representative. You call your governor. There's numbers out there. They're all over Blue Sky. I'm not mentioning Elon Musk's site because I'm gone from that piece of shit. I still use the other one, the Zuckerberg platform, mostly because my family's on it, because they're old and, not especially computer literate. But Get out there, talk to people. You're out at a bar, you're out for dinner, you're at church, you're wherever. Ask the questions. I would love to know all of this. If y'all would put in the comments for me. Hey, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go eat something. I have been down here now for 8 hours, in my studio taking care of this because this is too important. Please like and subscribe, and also have a great evening. This is Kev from Face for Radio, Voice for Print.